What's up, everybody? My name is Amy, and this is the Ruby Pearl Glamper True Crime Podcast. Everybody, I hope you can all hear me okay. Please let me know if you're in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me all right. I had some audio issues earlier and was not able to do my live. I don't know what happened. My intro worked, the sound and everything worked, but then when it came to my voice, it would not work at all. So please let me know if you can hear me. Okay, great. Awesome. Hi, Pam. How are you? I hope to see everybody else that was came in the chat earlier when I tried to go live, pop back in. I redid this to for later, and so I'm kind of off my game right now. But anyway, how is everybody doing? Hope everybody is doing okay. It is hot in the South. It is 100 degrees here in Arkansas, and this sun is burning up my cucumber plants. It's burning up my tomato plants, and it's terribly depressing because to sit and just watch money going down the drain and being wasted. It's heartbreaking, especially when you consider what the price of shitty ass vegetables are here in Arkansas. I mean, it's just awful, but this sun it's burning them up, and I'll be lucky if I get a single tomato or cucumber or watermelon or cantaloupe or anything at this point. It looks awful, and I've been feeding them, I water them and everything, but this sun is just absolutely burning it up. So thank you so much, Pam. I was so depressed over having to cut all my hair off. I had been growing my hair out since before I sold my house and bought my Glamper. I had let all the color start growing off and let it grow back into my natural hair color, and my hair was down to my waist. And I'd gotten my hair out of some pretty bad knots, but there was absolutely no getting it out. And so I just standing there bawling, and my friend, my campmate, Michael, I'm just like, fuck it, just cut it, Michael. God, just fucking. I mean, I was hysterical, and he was sad for me, because he actually has long hair, and he was so sad. He didn't want to do it, and he even took a brush and conditioner and water and was trying to brush it out. helping me. I worked on it for a couple hours. He worked on it for a couple of hours, and there was just no getting it out. So this is actually the same hairstyle that I wore throughout the 90s. I love the hairstyle. It was just heartbreaking to have to cut it all off. And I thought, well, you know what? I want to do something fun, something different. And so I just cut it all off, colored it, dyed it pink. If you know me very well, you know that pink is my favorite color. So, you know, what the hell? YOLO, you only live once. In the high 90s without the heat index, I know, girl, it's, and then, you know, you've got this southern humidity that we have. And, you know, Saturday, I went down to the lake and floated on my raft, and it was so nice. It was cloudy and sunny, but the humidity wasn't there, and so it was really nice. And but then I went back Sunday, and it was hot as hell, and it's been hot as hell ever since then. So it's just, this heat is something awful. But yeah, I haven't been on in a while, and not for lack of having anything to talk about. It's just that I have, you know, have ongoing health issues that I deal with. I've been going to doctor's appointments and this and that, and I haven't felt well. And I went and stayed a couple of days with my oldest daughter, and God forbid, cleaned my 11-year-old granddaughter's room, which should have had a film crew there doing an episode of Hoarders. It was bad. And so I cleaned her room and got it all ready. She was gone for a week on a doctor's visit, and some things had happened with her, and my daughter got her some help, and she's now back home, and she's doing very well, and she's keeping her room clean. And so hello kids, my kids who just texted me. But anyway, Max wants to share his pool with you. How sweet. I tried to get Ellie to go down to the lake with us the other day, but she wouldn't go. And I tell you, she's, bless her heart, she's getting old, and she just don't really want to do much anymore. And but yeah, hey, get in that pool with Max. A little dirty water ain't never hurt any of us Southern girls. So get in that pool with Max. How is my boy doing? Where's Benny Keys at? That old bastard down in Texas still talking shit. What are we gonna do with him? So I have a lot of stuff to talk about. Like I said, I've not been on for lack of anything to talk about. There's been a lot going on in the true crime community, but like I said, I just, you know, dealing with my health issues, trying to enjoy my summer and stay cool. And, you know, with all the drama and everything that's all over YouTube, you know, it just gets old in trying to get listeners to actually care about true crime and not about creator drama. So I'm going to, hang on just a second, y'all. Oh, there. Shed a little bit more light on the subject. There we go. All right. Oh, I'm telling you, Max and I are planning a trip. It's just a matter of time. When the mood strikes me, I'm going to come get Max, and we're gone. Take care of that SOB once and for all. But God, yes, there is so much to talk about. I want to warn anybody listening, first of all, that this particular episode of my show will have, there are some racism issues at hand. So if you're one who gets very easily butthurt over some racial issues or political issues or whatnot, then you may want to stop listening now. You know, whenever white people speak out about anything in the Black community, whether it be someone missing, who has, faked an abduction, or whether it's Black people committing crimes or anything like that, a lot of times when white people speak out about it, we get called a racist. And for anybody that knows me very well, I am far from racist. I don't care what color you are, where you come from, or anything. If you are missing or you are murdered, I care about you. And if you commit a crime, I don't care what color you are, your ass needs to go to prison. I care just as much about, a missing Black woman as I do a missing white woman. I care just as much about the murder of a Black man as I do the murder of a white man. I don't care. That's just, no. Yeah, I will be getting to the Carlee Russell situation. That is one of the topics of discussion that I want to talk about. I am absolutely furious about it. But, I wanted to lay the groundwork for this episode and just kind of, let people know that there's going to be a racial vibe throughout, my whole show tonight. But by no means am I a racist, and I am going to call you out if you have committed a crime, no matter what color you are. Just, that's just the way it is. I don't see color when it comes to a missing child, or a kidnapped woman, or a murdered child, or a murdered rapper, or what it amounts to. I'm going to speak my piece. So, with that in mind, to kind of just set the tone of my show tonight, I want to address the elephant, the big elephant in the room. If you will give me just a second, I will be right back. So take just a minute to get a cigarette or a drink, and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. So, like I said, I believe the elephant in the room tonight is going to set the tone for this show. I want to give a shout out to somebody. And let's get started. I am going to turn my camera off, though, because, anyway, hang on just a second. Okay, can everybody, all right. So, I want to just start out by giving a shout out to somebody. Try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road. Around here we take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long for you to find out. I recommend you don't. Try that in a small town full of good old boys raised up right. If you're looking for a fight, Try that in a small town. Shout out to my boy Jason Aldean and his new song, Try That in a Small Town. I am a small town girl from Central Arkansas, raised in the South. I completely understand what Jason Aldean is singing about, what he is talking about, and this song has caused a lot of controversy since its debut and the debut of the video to Try This in a Small Town by country music star Jason Aldean. He was called out for the place that it was filmed at, which is the courthouse in his small hometown outside of Nashville. Apparently, I guess some bad things happened once upon a time at that courthouse. Those things are not happening now. But, Jason Aldean is, what this song is about is calling these people out who are out here in these big cities and committing these crimes and burning their cities down and spitting on cops and this defund the police and Antifa and all this kind of crap. He's calling these people out. And he's saying, you come to my small town and try that shit and see how far you get down on the road. I am not going to, I have stopped. He's from the South. But I'm not sure what the issue is with, it's just something about the courthouse. They brought it up, but as saying that the courthouse it was filmed in front of, some bad things happened back in the day, but and they talked about how the video depicts violence and stuff. First of all, go watch the video. A lot of it is actual news footage, and the rest of it is just a reenactment of the crimes that people are going out here in the world and committing, and that he's calling you out about. He's calling you people out that are out here burning down the cities and burning down car lots and stealing and looting and rioting and trying to beat up police officers and people that are stomping on the flag and burning the flag. Apparently it's a bad thing to be American these days and be proud of your country and be proud of your flag and all that kind of stuff. It's weird with all this new political correction. The tables have turned, and being a proud American is a bad thing now. Sorry, I had to get a drink, and it's sad. And I myself, being raised in the South in Central Arkansas, I will admit that the town I grew up in, although by the time I got to school, the schools were integrated. And so, I went to school with black kids, but I will shamefully say that the N-word was a part of my vocabulary. Damn me to hell for it, but it just was. And I didn't, until a lot of us got older and began to understand that the N-word was offensive and that it was a racial slur and not just what you refer to a black person as. You know, I'm sorry to say that is the shitty ass place that I was born and raised in. It's sad, and I don't even want to get into some of the details of some things, but yeah, the N-word was an actual part of my vocabulary. It was not taught to me by my mother. My mother was far from racist. It was taught to me by society and the kids at school. And it's sad, you know, but once I got older and came to understand that that was, you know, not a proper word, and that was not a proper way to address a black person, or a proper thing to call a black person, you know, I changed, of course. But, you know, never in my life was I racist toward any of the black kids at school. You know, there's one of my best friends in high school was black. His name was Robert, and I had white people who would call me an N-word lover, you know, because I hung out with him, and you know that was extremely offensive to me. Yeah, we can't be held accountable for what another generation did and what has just been handed down to us and taught to us. And it is, and we're responsible for our own actions. So it's our responsibility to do our study and our research and understand that, hey, that's a very offensive word. That's not what we are. But you know, over the years, the term for a Black American or African American, however you want to say it, you know, has changed, and they are words that we don't use anymore. You know, so I learned, and I changed my ways, and but it was never that I was a racist. It was that word was the only word I was ever taught or heard growing up, as far as if you were referring to someone who was black or of color or an African American. And you know, I have defended myself about the rebel flag, and I know that it is a very offensive thing, and that it is as a topic, you know, a very sensitive topic. And a lot of people think, I don't care what you say or how you say it or what you feel. If you wave that rebel flag, you're a racist. And I've tried over the years to make people understand that the era that I was raised in, even though I lived in I guess you would say a racial environment, in a racial place where the N-word was a part of my vocabulary, you know, I did not grow up looking at the rebel flag or having the rebel flag as my, you know, banner of honor, however you want to say it. You know, I was not raised to look at it as though this stands for I hate black people and I am a racist. No, it was taught to me, and it represented Southern pride. It represented the country way of life. It represented the Southern moral values that I was taught. I am very, very proud of the Southern moral values that I was taught by my mother, my grandparents, you know, even what little bit of a relationship I had with my father, the people who helped my mother raise me. I'm very proud of those Southern moral values and the redneck way. And, you know, so you better redneckinize that I am not a racist. I'm not offended by people calling me a redneck. I'm not offended by people calling me a hippie. I am a proud redneck. I am a proud hippie, but in no way am I racist. So let's just get that out of the way. And, but this song caused a lot of backlash. And in the description box, I posted a YouTube link to a video that I watched earlier today from a black lady here on YouTube. It's actually a TikTok video, but please go and watch it. I mean, this woman goes off. And I tell you what, I can't top it. I cannot top it. But I totally agree with what she says. And, she is someone who did not see Jason's video or song as racist. And she calls her own people out for their shit. And it's a very interesting video. So if you get a chance to watch it, watch it. Hi, Mississippi Granny. How are you? The song itself is not racist. The riots and looting and burning, etc., is not going to happen in a small town. It's about right and wrong. And people absolutely, yeah, it's not going to happen in a small town. But, all these people that were calling it out for being racist and saying that it depicted violence, well, it depicts violence because, A, it's showing actual news video footage of the stuff that people have done in these towns, the rioting and the looting, and there was a little bit of reenactment being done, but it's all true. It all happened, and he's just calling out the truth about facts that happened. And I can't believe CMT, which the thing about these big companies is that they're being forced to be politically correct, and they're being forced to, include, right-wing ideology and stuff. And, that's the mess we got into with Budweiser and Dylan Mulvaney. I would almost bet the last dollar in my pocket that before that, Dylan Mulvaney never picked up a Bud Light in his life. Or let me be politically correct and say her life. I'm sure Dylan Mulvaney never even drank a Budweiser before that. So why on earth, out of everybody they could have chosen, they chose Dylan Mulvaney is beyond me. And beer drinking at a concert and things like that, that is a Southern thing to a T. And and it pissed off people, like Jason Aldean, Travis Tritt, Alan Jackson, and folks like that wasn't going to stand for it. Ted Nugent and people like that wasn't going to stand for it. Absolutely. I stand with Jason Aldean. And, I don't know if any of you are fans of Candace Owens. I personally am. There's been a few things that Candace Owens has said that I don't agree with, but for the most part, I do agree with a lot of Candace Owens' opinions and political beliefs. I might be a little bit more lenient than she is when it comes to some things, but for the most part, I love Candace Owens, and I love that she speaks her mind the way she does. But when she and her husband first moved to Nashville, the first people that reached out to them with a friend in hand was Brittany and Jason Aldean. They were the first people that reached out a hand of friendship and invited Candace and her, hi, old lady O, and invited Candace and her husband to their house to a party. And, you know, so of course, Candace Owens certainly spoke her mind out on the whole incident. But, you know, I just think that this is absolutely ridiculous. You know, hey, we have a lot of white criminals in the world too. I would say probably 90% of the videos here on my channel are about white people and white people crimes and white people killing their children and that kind of stuff. You know, aside from Cupcake McKinney, who which that case has been very near and dear to my heart. That little girl was kidnapped off the street 2 blocks from where my oldest daughter lived in Birmingham, Alabama, before she moved back to Arkansas. And that, you know, that little girl breaks my heart. Cody Bigsby breaks my heart. I care about those 2 kids just as much as I do Summer Wells and Monkey Vaughn, you know. But so let me get into, I could probably go off rambling, you know, about this whole racial issue and white and black, you know, problem for a long time, but I don't want to get stuck on that because there are a lot of things I want to talk about tonight. And so just, you know, bear with me as I get through it all. You know, like I said, I don't care what color you are. When it comes to committing a crime, your ass needs to go to prison. And so the first case that I want to talk about tonight is a case that I've been following for 27 years. 27 years I have followed this case. I know where I was when it happened. I remember that night like the back of my hand. I can't even remember what happened yesterday, but I can remember the details of the night that Tupac Shakur was shot in Las Vegas after the Mike Tyson fight in 1996. I was working in a nightclub, okay? Have you ever seen the vibe in a nightclub go from 10 to 0 in a matter of minutes? I have. And that's how it was the night we all got word that Tupac Shakur had been shot on the Vegas Strip. The vibe and everybody in the club went from 10 to 0. And it was like being at a morgue, at a funeral. People were crying. Everyone was upset. Everyone was just absolutely heartbroken. And I can't even begin to add up. It would be in the thousands of hours that I have spent studying about who murdered Tupac Shakur. The murder of Tupac and Biggie are 2 of the cases of like my top 10 cases of all cases ever in the world that I want to see solved. I love Tupac. I love his music. It breaks my heart to even talk about him. I am fighting the tears now because I have wanted Tupac to get justice as well as Biggie. And apparently the LA Las Vegas Police Department, I guess, I'm really not quite sure yet who it is that's reopened the case, but so the story goes, let me just give you a little brief reminder of what happened. Tupac Shakur was gunned down on the Las Vegas Strip in a BMW with Suge Knight after the Mike Tyson fight on their way to Club 662. It is believed that Keefy D his nephew, Orlando Anderson, also known as Baby Lane, and two other guys were in a white Cadillac that had been rented out of Compton, and Tupac was gunned down. After the Mike Tyson fight, a member of the death row entourage, his name was Trayvon Lane, he saw Orlando Anderson standing outside in the hallway at the MGM Grand after the fight and said, "Hey, there's the dude that beat me down at a shoe store, the popular shoe store, that Foot Locker, that beat me down and took my death row chain." Well, naturally, Tupac and them were like, "Oh, okay." So Tupac, who actually should have never gotten involved in any of their entourage's bullshit, as an artist, I don't think he should have gotten involved, and Suge should not have let him get involved. Like, "Oh, there's the dude that beat up my homie. Okay, well, he's fixing to get a beat down himself." Now, remind you, the reason why they beat up Orlando Anderson at the MGM Grand is because a few weeks prior, Orlando Anderson and his Southside Crip buddies had beat down Trayvon Lane and took his death row chain because it was worth some money in the gang world. You could get some odd thousands of dollars, supposedly. There was a hit out on him to, snatch any of them. So this guy who started this whole mess, Orlando Anderson, started all this by beating down Trayvon Lane and stealing his chain. So then when Trayvon and his friends see him, well, we're going to give you a beat down back. What does Orlando Anderson do? He comes back and he kills Tupac Shakur and tries to kill Suge Knight. I think that he was trying to kill them both, honestly. But unfortunately, Suge lived. Suge is another subject for me, and he is in prison where he belongs and should be for the rest of his life. So you've got a situation where someone else starts this whole mess, and then they defend themselves, and then you pissed because these people are defending themselves, so you're going to come back and kill them. It's just like, it never stops. It's ridiculous. And anyway, we've known for years about the whole white Cadillac and Keefe D and Orlando Anderson and stuff. We've known about them for years, and they've been suspects for years. And it wasn't until the Greg Kading investigation happened that actual confessions started coming out. And what happened was Valletta Wallace had sued the LAPD over the murder of her son, Christopher Wallace, the notorious B.I.G. And so Greg Kading and his partner were assigned to reinvestigate the case and, try to get to the bottom of finding out who killed Biggie. Well, in order to find out who killed Biggie, you have to investigate the case of who killed Tupac Shakur. So, the cases are just hand in hand. And in the course of the investigation by Greg Kading, they built a major drug operation case against Keefe D. And they went to Keefe D with an offer and it is called a proffer agreement. They made a proffer agreement with Keefe D, aka Dwayne Davis, in 2009, and that he would not be held responsible for any self-incriminating statements that he made involving any crimes that he committed. Okay. So he actually ends up confessing that, yes, I was in the car. I gave the gun to my nephew, Orlando Anderson. And, you know, yes, we killed Tupac Shakur. But like I said, this was done because they were investigating the death of Biggie because of the lawsuit that Valletta Wallace had found. And so this all unraveled in the course of that. I don't agree with Greg Kading, who he says killed Biggie. But, you know, I do agree with him, you know, on the fact that, yes, I do believe Orlando Anderson killed Tupac Shakur, and that Keefe D and these other two people who are dead now, as well as Orlando Anderson, they've been dead for a long time, were in the car and they were involved. And Keefe D is the only one alive to tell the story. Well, the deal that Keefe D made with Greg Kading and the feds and the police and all that stuff, only the deal he made with them only counted for that particular time. And I've also linked a video in my description box with a recent interview with Greg Kading and how he explains about the proffer agreement they made with him and how Keefe D has gone on to violate that proffer agreement. So yes, they can still build a case against him and they can still prosecute him for being involved in the murder of Tupac Shakur. So if you get a chance, please watch that video if you want to understand the proffer agreement and all that with the police and how that all went about. But anyway, since then, Keefe D has been on DJ Vlad. If any of y'all watch Vlad TV, DJ Vlad has interviewed Keefe D several times, and he's also been on several other outlets where he has, you know, talked about being involved in the murder and bragging about it. And as well as he has written a book and boasted and bragged about it in that book. Well, what he's done is he's violated that proffer agreement, and everything that proffer agreement covered, that don't cover him going out here and writing a book. That don't protect him while he's out here writing a book bragging about killing Tupac Shakur. That don't protect him when he's on Vlad TV talking about how he handed his nephew the gun and who all was in the car and admittingly being involved in the crime. He's not protected from that. So the feds raided his and his wife's house and removed a whole lot of stuff, and we could possibly finally see after 27 years somebody prosecuted for the murder of Tupac Shakur, and I could not be happier, because I got to tell you, I have watched all them interviews with Keefe D on Vlad TV and other stuff, and it has absolutely made me sick how he has been out here, been able to go out here and brag about killing the greatest rapper in the world of all times. Don't even argue with me about it. Just don't even argue with me about it. Tupac Shakur is the greatest rapper of all times. And you know, you just can't go out here bragging about killing that man and think that you're going to get away with it. I'm surprised no one has gunned him down in the streets yet. And, you know, we could still likely see it happen. You know, he's over here on DJ Vlad and other YouTube channels and stuff, whining. I mean, whining. Because Puffy ain't taking care of him. And Puffy, I saved your life, and I did this for you. You owe me, homie, Why ain't you out here sending me $20,000 worth of free clothes and suits and bullshit? You know, yeah, he's whining because Puffy cut ties with him, and Puffy won't have nothing to do with him, and he thinks Puffy owes him. But I'm sorry, Keefy D, you should have never gotten out of prison to start with. You're a career criminal and should be rotting in a prison somewhere right next to Suge. You can rot right on there in there with your buddy Suge. I don't give two shits about you. I don't give two shits about Suge Knight. I don't give two shits about Puff Daddy, P. Diddy. If y'all have been paying attention to the news and paying attention to what's going on YouTube, a lot of people are coming out and really putting the squeeze on P. Diddy and talking about things with him and how his possible involvement in what happened with Jamie Foxx. And there's a lot of horrific stories that are coming out, things that happened with Usher, things that happened with Justin Bieber, and I've heard these rumors for years that, P. Diddy was one of those. In the black community, it's referred to as being on the down low. But yeah, all these gay, sex, weird ass shit, Holly weird crap. Yeah, P. Diddy's all up in the middle of all that weird ass shit, and people are coming out and talking about it. They're also talking about Oprah, and we've heard rumors and things about Oprah and stuff too over the years. And I'm sorry if I don't like Oprah. I don't like the way that she did Michael Jackson and the Jackson family, and there's just other things about Oprah that I don't like, and I just don't think she's a good person. So but anyway, so hopefully we are going to see a possible arrest, an actual arrest, and hopefully a prosecution. Because Keefy D, you don't get to murder the greatest rapper in the world and go out here and brag about it and think that you can get away with it and then whine about it. Whine about the feds being up your ass. Whine about the feds going through your shit and breathing down your neck and whining because Puffy won't send you a $10,000 suit. Screw you. You need to be wearing an orange jumpsuit. That's all I got to say about it. I mean, this case is, it's one of my baby cases that I couldn't even begin to tell you how many thousands and thousands of sleepless nights I've spent trying to figure out who really did kill Tupac. I think that there's a lot of people also who have responsibility for his death just because they didn't pull the trigger or weren't in that car or whatever. I do feel that there are several people who should take responsibility for Tupac's death, but LAPD, Las Vegas PD, you stay down Keefy D's neck and you take that dude to prison. End of story. And so now let me get into talking about another rapper who needs to take responsibility for his actions, and that is Travis Scott. If you don't know who rapper Travis Scott is, he is the baby daddy of Kylie Jenner's two kids, Stormy and Air. I believe her little boy's name is Air. I don't know. I think she's changed it a couple of times. So, but anyway, and back in 2019, was it 2019? the Astroworld concert. I spoke about this on my Spotify channel back when it all happened. And the Travis Scott Astroworld concert ended with 10 people dead and hundreds and hundreds of people injured. There was a 9-year-old little boy named Ezra Blount who died. And, you know, I care about all the victims that died that night. And I want to read off their names because this is about them. Axel, and I apologize for mispronouncing anyone's name. Axel Acosta Avila, 21 years old. Danish Baig, 27 years old. Ezra Blount, 9 years old, who was sitting on his father's shoulders. And when everything happened, his father passed out and little Ezra fell off his father's shoulders and was trampled to death. John Hilgert, age 14. Jacob Junick, age 20. Franco Patino, age 21. Rodolfo Pena, age 23. Brianna Rodriguez, age 16. Bharti Shahani, age 22. And Madison Pibisky, age 23. I seem to recall from the video that I did about Astroworld on my Spotify channel, Bharti Shahani was the girl that was placed on a stretcher upside down and was not strapped on. Like I said, she wasn't even put on the gurney the correct way. She was not strapped down. Her head was not strapped down. And they dropped her on the concrete as they were trying to get her out of this whole mess, as the medical people were trying to get her out of this whole mess. They dropped her onto the concrete. And that young lady died. And, you know, these victims are who I care about. I don't give two shits about Travis Scott. I do give two shits about Kylie Jenner. And there's a lot of controversy over what happened. And a lot of people feel that Travis Scott should be prosecuted over all these deaths that happened, that he is responsible. And I believe that he is responsible. Some people try to say, oh, he did stop the show a couple of times and blah, blah, blah. Or he couldn't see, or he wasn't aware of what's going on. His baby mama was filming an ambulance trying to get through the crowd of people. And you've got all these heathens jumping up and down on this medical van, this ambulance. You know, it was pure insanity. And the thing about Travis Scott and his concerts is he calls it raging. And I distinctly, you can watch the videos for yourself. They're all over YouTube. When at one point when they're trying to get him to stop the show, he distinctly says, fuck that. Y'all know what y'all came here to do. And it just boosts. But that particular concert, if you watch any of the footage from it, that is the most demonic shit I have ever watched in my entire life. If I were going to a Marilyn Manson concert, I would expect to see crazy, you know, shit like that. I mean, you know, I don't approve of the things that Marilyn Manson does. But I do like Marilyn Manson. I like Marilyn Manson's music. I don't quite approve of some of the things that he does, but I think and I also think he's been wrongfully accused himself. You know, he was accused of being the cause of the Columbine shooting, and you know, it was found out those kids were not even fans of Marilyn Manson's. But you know, Travis Scott was actually arrested here in Arkansas, in Rogers, Arkansas, for inciting a riot. So, you know, Travis Scott, he encourages his fans to jump the fences. He encourages his fans to rage. He encourages his fans to not uh, not mind the rules and to break down the barriers and go against the security guards. Fuck those security guards and stuff. Well, why do you even hire them? You know, what, so your fans can disrespect them and trample all over them and that kind of stuff? I mean, you know, it's just pure insanity. But I think that Travis Scott needs to take responsibility for what happened. I think he needs to be held responsible. And, you know, all these families and the people that were injured and stuff do still have lawsuits against Travis. So he is still facing, you know, billions of dollars in lawsuits. But as far as being actually indicted by a grand jury, they have chosen not to indict him and hold him responsible for what happened at Astroworld. And I just think that it is terribly wrong. You know, I would feel the same way if this happened at a Jason Aldean concert. And let us not forget that, and I've not yet heard this talked about, let's not forget what happened in Las Vegas at a festival when Jason Aldean was on stage. Stephen Paddocks gunned down several people in the Las Vegas shooting. And to this day, there has never been any known reasoning for why that man gunned all those people down in Las Vegas at that festival when Jason Aldean was performing on stage. And, you know, so let's remember, and that tore him up. You know, what happened, that truly, truly tore him up. And I would think was probably had a lot to do with his, you know, reasonings for writing the song, you know, Try That in a Small Town. You know, the horror that he's lived with after that whole massacre that, you know, he had no control over. He had absolutely no control over that. And it wasn't, you know, there's never been an established cause of why that man did all that. There's a lot of conspiracy theories that he was a right-wing Democrat, and or that he was a you know, a staunch Democrat. There's been conspiracy theories that he was involved with Al Qaeda and all kinds of crazy stuff. But we don't. The police have clearly said they have no known reasoning for why that man gunned all those people down in Vegas at that Jason Aldean concert. You know, so, you know, try and remember that too as well. But in this instance, I do feel as though Travis Scott should be held accountable for his actions, for inciting riots and inciting the behavior that his fans depict. And like I said, if you've ever watched the actual video, that's the most demonic shit I've ever seen in my life. I would expect to see that kind of stuff at a Marilyn Manson concert, or a Motley Crue concert, or a Megadeth, or Alice Cooper, or somebody like that, but not Travis Scott. And I don't even understand what all the demonic depiction behind all of it really is. You know, it was it was an experience. It's eye opening. I'm talking demons and all kinds of stuff, and but Travis Scott is one of these people in the world that thinks they are a god, just like his baby mama Kylie Jenner. Um, if you've watched the latest episode of the Kardashians on Hulu, it made me absolutely sick when I watched it. Kylie's having a conversation with one of her sisters, talking about how she hates it that to see and seeing young girls on Instagram and things like that using so much Photoshop and blah 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 and all this. I'm like, my lord, you and your sisters are the queens of Photoshop. Where do you think these girls get this from? You and your sisters, you are queens of Photoshop. You are the gurus of Photoshop. You've been called out for it a million times. People say I've had all this plastic surgery and all I've had is fillers. Really? You have literally morphed yourself into looking just like your sister. And your whole company, Kylie Cosmetics, was started on a fraud. You convinced young girls that they could overline their lips with lip liner and lipstick and have full pouty lips just like yours, when in truth, you were going and getting lip injections. Just disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And so it just absolutely disgusted me when I heard her talking to her sister about that, how it bothers her seeing so many young girls using Photoshop, so much Photoshop, and how she doesn't want to be remembered for having plastic surgery and stuff because she's only had fillers and blah blah blah. Just disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Her and Travis Scott both just disgust me, and it breaks my heart for these families. I was looking on little Ezra Blount's dad's Instagram page the other day, and it's just sad what all those families have been put through. And I do feel that Travis Scott should be held accountable and held responsible in some way, shape, fashion, or form for those deaths that happened at Astroworld. There's other people that should be held accountable too, but he, as the artist, should also be held accountable. So, does anybody have any questions so far about anything before I get into my next topic? Does anybody have anything they want to say or anything like that? I'll give y'all a minute to throw some questions out at me or anything like that you might want to talk about or say or anything like that. Okay, well, let's move on to talking about Carlee Russell. I spoke about this on Bullhorn Betty's channel the other day when I called in, and I wanted to share it and talk about it here on my channel as well. What has upset me so much about the Carlee Russell fake kidnapping case? And again, here we go with a bit of, racial undertones. I am fully aware that the typical white, blonde woman will get more media attention than a black woman. I am fully aware of that. That is a problem in our country. I see it. But in this particular case, when the Carlee Russell incident happened and this came out that she saw a toddler on the side of the road, and then it was being said, we're not sure, we found no evidence of a child missing or a child out there on the road or anything like that. I thought we were possibly dealing with someone who was suffering from some sort of mental issue. Maybe she was hallucinating, something like that. And it automatically made me think about Michelle Lee Bell. Michelle Lee Bell was a young woman who was suffering from some sort of a mental breakdown. She lived in Caruthersville, Missouri, and there was an incident. She left her house in this psychotic state, and she ended up in Joyner, Arkansas, which is northeast from me. She ended up in a little rinky-dink town in northeast Arkansas called Joyner, Arkansas. There was an off-duty police officer that even tried to stop and help her, and she said, "No, I'm okay," blah, 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 blah. Anyway, she goes missing. Her car was found just off the interstate, Interstate 55. The car door was wide open. Allegedly, she had no coat or shoes or anything on, and she didn't have any. I don't think she had any money or a cell phone on her either. But she had encounters with people, and people saw her and tried to help her, and she refused help. And then by the time her family found out and they got to the scene of where her car was found, Michelle was gone. And she was missing for 3 months, and she was found 3 months later in a field in Arkansas. Her remains were found, and unfortunately, they were not even able to determine how she died. So we don't know if Michelle was murdered. We don't know if she died from the elements or some sort of other health-related issue. We just don't know what happened to Michelle. But at the time, this was long before I had my YouTube channel or my Spotify channel, and I was helping my daughter's cousin. We were running a very large Facebook page for missing people that had thousands and thousands of followers, and we helped Michelle's family with what we could, and what we had the ability to do in keeping her name out there and keeping attention on her case. And the people on her side, the Missouri side police, they did everything they could, but because this case crossed state lines, the people in charge were here in Arkansas, and they just didn't get shit from the Arkansas police and the county police up there where she was found. And so now, because of that, and we'll never truly know what did happen to Michelle and how she died. She did not get the media attention. She got very, very little local media attention, much less national media attention, the way Carlee Russell did. So, I have to stand here and defend Michelle as a, beautiful white blonde-haired woman that in this instance, she didn't get the national media that this rich black girl got, who faked a kidnapping. And that girl has no idea the damage she has done for victims. Do you agree with me or not? Do you agree the damage that this woman has done for victims who have been really kidnapped, who might have been having some sort of a mental psychotic break the way Michelle was having? you know, this was about wanting some attention and some rich girl problems. And it just absolutely is disgusting. Oh, really? Oh, lady. Oh, okay. I will definitely take a look at that. Um, but she just has no idea the damage that she has done for kidnapping victims, especially older people. Because when you have a situation where, okay, you're not considered an adult till you're 18. So, but, but young women and even young men from teenager age on up, when they go missing, the cops first do not first look at them as a possible kidnapping or a possible suspicious disappearance. Their first thought is a runaway. Their first thought is also that as an adult, we have the right to disappear. You know what? I have the right to shut off my phone and disappear and not tell my kids a word. So the cops, they will look at these situations like that, and so there is slow to get uh the correct investigation going. And we all know that in missing person cases, every minute counts, and every minute that goes by gives you less and less of chance of recovering a kidnapping victim alive. We know that. And so, you know, I just feel that she has truly done a lot of damage, especially on behalf of, the older women and people who go missing, or that there was a possible kidnapping, that cops, it just makes them less likely. Okay, is this another fake Carlee Russell kidnapping? Is this another fake disappearance? Is this just some girl that just ran off with her boyfriend or whatever? When Trinity Case, I didn't find this out till afterwards, but if you remember the case that I covered here in Hot Springs, Arkansas, of Trinity Case, a young lady was 17 years old. She was kidnapped off the sidewalk of historical Central Avenue in downtown Hot Springs. She worked at a sweet treats store. I had actually been there a week before that. My daughter, my oldest daughter, and my granddaughter, we had went out that day. I don't even remember. Was that my birthday or I Yes, it was. It was mine and Ashley's birthday, because both of my birthday's April the 7th, hers is April the 10th. So we went to Central Avenue and spent the day. We went to the Wax Museum. My granddaughter had never been to the Wax Museum, Madame Tussauds Wax Museum. So we went there, and we went down to the cupcake place and the sweet treats place and got some desserts. And I was sitting there on that very sidewalk that she was kidnapped from 1 week prior to her kidnapping. And I found this out later on, that the Hot Springs cops were not very friendly to her family. And they did not, even though they issued an Amber Alert, because she was 17 years old, so she's still qualified to get an Amber Alert. They did, say a lot of nasty things to her family. You sure she didn't just run off with some friends? Is this a real kidnapping? But luckily, Trinity was found alive, and bless her heart, I have to drive by that place every time I go to Hot Springs shopping or to a doctor's appointment. I have to drive by that motel where she was held captive and had horrible things done to her by those two people, and the liquor store that's just right up the road from it, that she escaped and ran half naked to that liquor store for help. I pass by it every day and I think about that young lady, but you know, she is safe, and those people were prosecuted and are rotting in prison. And but you know, that's just the thing, is that these older people don't always get taken seriously at first, that there is a kidnapping. So Carlee Russell, you've done a lot of damage to real kidnapping victims. I think Carlee Russell should be prosecuted. I think she should do not only jail time, but I think she needs to do a hell of a lot of public service, like volunteer public service, working with, you know, people less fortunate than her. I think she should have to do uh, quite a bit of community service in helping other people who are less fortunate than her. And I damn sure think that all the money that was put out in donations and in put into her investigation, that money should be repaid back, and the donations, you know, should be given back to the community or be donated to some other type of charity cause to help other missing victims or something. Something's got to be done to this girl. She's got to be made an example of. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm not picking on this girl, you know, because she's black. I'm not picking on this girl even because she's rich. She committed a crime and she did damage, and she deserves to be prosecuted for it, and should be prosecuted for it. End of story. Plain and simple. It just truly disgusts me. Just a few other things to mention that's going on. Brian Koberger is still reserving his right to remain silent. So, you know, nothing really new going on in the Brian Koberger case. You know, it's of course going forward. They are looking forward to their day in court sometime in October. I kind of feel like something's going to happen and we're not going to see it go to trial in October, but you know, we'll have to wait and see. I don't know. For some reason, I'm waiting on some kind of bombshell to drop. I don't know what kind of bombshell. I don't know what, but I've got this gut feeling, and I'm waiting on some sort of major something to come out or drop in that case. And you know, we may see it drug out for even longer than October, but hopefully not, you know. But I think that his lawyer, they're just, you know, issuing their right to remain silent because they don't want the public to have any idea of what his alibi might possibly be, or have any idea of any evidence that they think they have that supports his innocence. Because, you know, the true crime community and the public, they're going to start digging, and they're going to try to start verifying stuff and everything, and they don't want anybody to blow a hole in their story before they get a chance to tell it in court. So I think that's just why they are, you know, reserving their right to remain silent and want to wait and let everything come out in trial. I'm anxious to see what all ends up happening in that trial, and if they allow cameras in the courtroom, and you know, and all of that. And you know, are they going to raffle off seats to the trial and or sell tickets, or you know, with these high profile cases now, you never know what these courts are going to do. So that is yet to be seen. But I do hope that, you know, it does end up going to trial because in October, because there is a lot of cases, y'all, that I have covered and talked about that these people are in jail. They're still in jail waiting to be prosecuted. And then these cases happened long before the Idaho 4 murders. So, you know, hell, we're not going to even see Megan Boswell go to trial till 2024 or 25. I don't even remember now. They've postponed it for another 2 years. So we're not even going to see that girl go to trial for another year or two. And there's many more that are still awaiting trial. There's a case in Houston, Texas, that I'm still waiting on these people to go to trial. That the details in that case are so horrific. But the woman's name is Gloria Williams. She left her children in an apartment with their deceased sibling for a year, and it's horrible. Her and her boyfriend, while they sat at home and ate good, these children were left in an apartment to starve to death, and with the corpse of their little brother. Yeah, that's how sick that one was. Extremely, extremely sickening. So does anybody have any questions? Does anybody want to come on panel with me? I can drop a link and let's chit chat and talk about anything y'all want to talk about. Does anybody have any cases you'd like to bring to my attention or anything like that? For those of you that are still here in the chat with me, oh Lady O, It Matters, Mississippi Granny, I'll give y'all just a minute or two to respond. You know, and let me know, what are your thoughts? You know, how do you feel about the situation with Carlee Russell? How do you feel about the situation with Travis Scott? Do you think that Travis Scott should be held accountable for his actions? Do you think Carlee Russell should be accountable and held responsible for her actions? Do you think Keefy D should be held responsible and accountable for his actions and in the murder of Tupac Shakur? Let me know what you all think or how you all feel, or like I said, any questions you want to ask or a case that you might want to bring to my attention. There's also something going on in the Monkey Vaughn case. Bullhorn Betty posted a short video earlier today. I need to rewatch it, but there is an update in the Monkey Vaughn case. So if you get a chance, check out that little video on Bullhorn Betty's community page that she posted earlier today, and hear about the update in the Monkey Vaughn case. Definitely, Carlee. Yes, absolutely. It is a shame that they have to spend all this time in jail before they go to. I know. You know, it's I don't know what's taking so long. The case in Houston, I don't know what's taking so long with prosecuting those people. I try to check, you know, every week or every few weeks on all these different cases so that I can bring you updates on these cases that I've covered. But like I said, nothing, nada, still sitting in jail, waiting on court dates and stuff. So, you know, I know that these courts got backed up, you know, because of COVID and everything. And so all this stuff got backed up, but this is a bit ridiculous. You know, But hell, would it take 4 years to prosecute Lori Daybell? You know, that was also another case that Debbie and I really promoted and kept, you know, public attention on with our Facebook page, was the disappearance of Kylie and JJ. And, you know, I've been following that since those kids were reported missing. And, you know, we've still yet to get Chad Daybell to trial. We as tax-paying Americans should not have to pay for them. They should have, absolutely. And some of them do. I don't know about county jail though, but I mean, in the prisons, of course, unless you have a disability, you have to have a job, working somewhere, whether it's in the field or in the kitchen or in the, uh, you know, somewhere. You have to have some kind of, all those prisoners have some sort of job. You know, like Varner unit here in Arkansas, you know, they offer classes, and they got Votech and all kinds of stuff that, you know, you can learn how to do stuff in prison and things like that. So, you know, but these people just sitting in the county jails, I don't understand. I don't, and like I said, I don't understand what's taking so long to prosecute Gloria Williams and her boyfriend Brian. Why that case is taking so long? They did the crime. Why should we? Yeah, that pisses me off too. Absolutely, absolutely. You know, like I said, you know, to sum everything up, um, nothing for me is about racism. You know, I care just as much about missing and murdered black people as I do missing and murdered white people. And if you committed a crime, I don't care if you're white, black, Puerto Rican, Mexican, or Jewish. If you commit a crime, you do the time. You know, you don't get to go out here boasting and bragging about what you did. You know, and you should be and whining. You know, um, Travis Scott was actually supposed to had a big upcoming concert, and I am so happy about this. Um, Travis Scott had a big concert, his big Utopia concert, that he was going to be doing in front of the Egyptian pyramids of Giza. Okay, he was in the Egyptian pyramids of Giza. Okay, like, is anything not sacred in this country or any other country for that matter? Like, there's just some places that should be off limits. Like, that would be like doing a concert in front of the Statue of Liberty. You know, there's just some places that I think should be held sacred. But anyway, the concert has been canceled. A bunch of people are, you know, they're going to get their money back to their tickets and stuff. But the reason why it was canceled was because of complex production issues. They can't set up his ridiculous demonic stage, I guess, in front of the Egyptian pyramids. There's just no way. And also, the Egypt Musicians Syndicate was not happy about this at all. And they say that Travis's music and his whole concert depiction, the things that are depicted in his concerts, goes against the cultural identity of Egypt. So they are the ones that put a stop to it. And I'm actually very happy about that, because you know what? Go to the O2 Arena, dude. Go to the football field. Go, you know, there are arenas. There's just some things in this world that should be held sacred. Like, you're going to go do a concert right in the center of Bethlehem, you know, or in front of the Statue of Liberty. It's just ridiculous. Especially Travis Scott. Have y'all ever even listened to Travis Scott's music? Have you ever even read the lyrics to any of his songs? They make absolutely no sense whatsoever. He just raps about bullshit. His songs don't even tell a story. The way Tupac's songs told a story, his songs do not even make any sense, much less tell a story. Like I said, I don't even know why people like him. He's certainly, Travis Scott is no Tupac and never will be. So his music sucks. Like I said, I would have never even known who he was until he got involved with Kylie Jenner. And, you know, and if you don't know who Kylie Jenner is, then congratulations. I wish I lived under the same rock you do. Wish I didn't know her either. Hell, I had to come out of retirement and go back to work, and, you know, a 30-year... Absolutely. Girl, I don't... That's another thing. I will say that's also another reason why I have been away from YouTube. It's one of the just, you know, personal issues that I'm dealing with, is that, you know, I'm still making the same amount of money. You know, I live on a disability check, and when you triple the price of living, you know, the price of groceries and all this, you know, the cost of living, of everything, when you triple the price of something, but yet I'm still drawing the same amount of a paycheck, that puts a lot of hurt on me. And, you know, where I had, you know, plenty of money to live on for the month, between my friend and I, you know, we combine our money. We had plenty of money to live on. You know, now we're back to stretching it from month to month. And, you know, we're back to being broke as hell for the last week and a half of the month, you know, and struggling to, you know, eating, you know, soup and shit and whatever's left over till, you know, we go buy groceries again at the first of the month. It's, oh, because they cut off your assistant. Yeah. You know, even for and I've gotten raises, of course, on my disability check since I first, you know, got my disability back in 2012. But even back in 2012, I was only able to draw $62 in food stamps, and I had a minor child at home. Now it's just me. But even back in 2012, and having a minor child at home, I could still only draw $62 in food stamps. Now I don't get anything, but, you know, it's just, you know, it's insanity. And my, you know, my oldest daughter, you know, she has to work her ass off, you know, to feed her and my granddaughter and put her through school, the cost of school supplies, school clothes, feeding her. And she's a picky eater, and, you know, how kids are. And, you know, it's just, things have been a real struggle, and that, you know, has added to my depression. So, you know, that's just been weighing on me really heavy, you know, where I would have money at the end of the month, you know, now I'm back to stretching it, you know, paycheck to paycheck again. My money goes towards, we scrape by yeah, exactly. I know it's, and I know that in, you know, I live in one of the, you know, Arkansas is actually considered a poor state. So I could not imagine trying to live, you know, in some of these more upper class states, such as like California or Florida or somewhere like that, where the cost of living is even higher, you know, and groceries are, they charge more for groceries and gas and such, even more than they do here in Arkansas. Oh, Phoenix, Arizona. Yeah, out there on the, out there in the West, I know it's the cost of living is extremely high. And, because I'm an RVer, I live in an RV full time, I follow a lot of these van lifers and stuff, and, poor little Gabby, my fellow van lifer, that's what attracted me to her case, as well as Crystal Turner and Colin Schulte, and out there on in the West, where a lot of the van lifers are, Gabby and them were out west. Kristen and Kylie were out, or Crystal and Colin were out west. One of the ladies that I follow, she's a solo van lifer that I follow here on YouTube. She stays all over the place out there. She's been doing it for 5 years, and man, the cost of living out there, I know it's even worse than it is here. He was helping Griff with mess. Now no one will help one of his blood pressure medication. Oh my. Yeah, see, and that's another thing, Pam, is that, people not being able to afford to get the medications that they need. We didn't ask for these diseases. We didn't ask for these medical problems, and we should be afforded to be able to get the medications that we need, just like anyone else. I know right now I'm trying to get a new pair of glasses. I need some glasses like a pig needs a bath, and I'm trying to find an eye doctor that will accept my Medicare, and it's not easy. So I'm in, because I can't afford to pay out of pocket for the glasses and an eye exam and stuff. So I'm busy now looking and trying to find. I talked to my doctor about it, and said, hey, I'm struggling. I'm blind as a bat. I need glasses. Can Medicare help me get a pair of glasses? And well, you just have to call around and see if you can find somebody that'll accept, and blah, blah, blah. And if I don't, then, oh shit, well, I just continue wearing Dollar Tree glasses so that I can read and be done with it. My vision is really, really deteriorated, and I can't lose my ability to drive, Pam. I have to be able to drive myself back and forth to go where I need to go and to care for myself. I have to be able to drive back and forth to these doctor's appointments and stuff. So I can't lose my vision and lose my ability to see. I don't, the only person I have here in Arkansas for any help is my daughter, my oldest daughter, and, my ex-sister-in-law. But, my oldest daughter, she manages a hardware and lumber company and works like a dog. And, she's just not able to carry me around and, all the time back and forth to those doctor's appointments and things like that. And Cindy's busy looking for another job. So, it's just, I just don't have the luxury of having people I can pick up the phone and call and say, hey, can you take me to the grocery store? Can you take me to my doctor's appointment? Can you take me to this appointment or to this place or that place? And hell, I live way out in the backwoods of Arkansas. It takes me an hour to get from my house to my daughter's house. So it's an hour drive from me to her. So I can't lose my ability to drive. And, before everything tripled, I could afford to pay out of pocket for a pair of glasses, but not now, not the way things are now. It's breaking the bank for me and Michael both. It's taking all of our money just to get by for the month. back to living paycheck to paycheck. Yeah, having to sacrifice one thing for another, rob from Peter to pay Paul, as we say here in the South. It sucks, and it's caused me a lot of more depression than I already got. I deal with enough depression without something or someone else adding to that. So, this earlier today, I got a call. I got a call from my youngest daughter, and I had mailed her a letter like 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I had bought her some earrings on Temu and some she's a Halloween guru, and so I got her some it, and they had it and Nightmare Before Christmas and some other little things. Anyway, it was some nail art because she does her nails and likes to do nail art and stuff on her nails. So I sent her this card and some little earrings and this little sheet of nail art. And I went down here to the post office. They weighed it, put the postage on it and everything. And then she never gets the letter. Well, finally today, the postal lady shows up at her apartment and says that she has to pay $4 in order to get this letter. And I'm like, what the hell? Well, she didn't have any cash on her, and it had to be cash money. I think her and Harley, between the two of them, scrounged up $3 and something. She was short 40 cents, mind you, 40 cents. And the person said, well, you'll have to come down to the post office and pay the full amount in order to get it. So we're talking about, I put $1 and something in postage on the letter. They're charging her $4 and something more. So we're talking about over $5 worth of postage to mail a 50-cent Dollar Tree card, some Temu earrings, and a little sheet of nail art. The contents of the card didn't even cost me as much as the postage is ending up costing me. That's insane. Purely insane. The government is just fucking us every which way but loose. Every day of the week. No matter what color, class, religion we are. The government is fucking us in the ass every day. Pardon my French. It's just insane. I had assumed by now the letter ended up getting lost after she didn't get it. And then she calls me this afternoon and says that the postal people showed up finally and told her she had to pay $4 to get that letter that I mailed her with those little earrings and nail art in it. Absolutely ridiculous. I don't know what's going to happen. But it's just pure insanity. It's like, they do things to improve stuff, but they take advantage of us. It's just like charging us outrageous amounts for, television and streaming and cable TV and broadband and internet and these phone companies that are making God knows how much money off of us, and the people out here in my little community are all fighting over one cell phone tower, trying to get service. We finally got broadband internet out here. And so I got, now that I'm stationary, I get broadband internet from the light company here. And, it costs me what do I pay? Like $50 a month or something like that. I don't even remember, but, I had to to even be able to get a signal to be able to watch YouTube, and and now I can of course watch my Roku TV and stuff where I wasn't able to before. But it just seems like these things that they do to improve our way of life, they will take advantage of us. I remember when we went from analog TV to and all that big changeover and stuff, and just these cable companies and these cell phone companies will charge you out the ass for stuff. That's why I've stayed with Straight Talk all these years. I pay for I used to get the $45 card every month. Then I started getting the $55 card so I could get more gigabytes of data. But now I don't really need that because, I do have Wi-Fi now. So I'm probably actually going to just go back to getting the $45 card and all. But yeah, out here in our community, we're fighting over one little old cell phone tower. And I read that the Biden administration was giving Arkansas several $billions for broadband internet. I guess for us to get broadband internet stuff here in Arkansas. I don't know. I don't even get in the middle of. I try to stay as far away from politics now as possible. I don't even want to listen to it. I don't even want to hear about it because these people are going to do whatever the hell they want to do, no matter what we like or don't like. And, I just sometimes, just have things in life that we just have to walk away from it because there's just absolutely nothing we can do about it. In my 30 years of being involved in true crime, you know what? I've fought the Arkansas government. I've fought Arkansas police departments and governors and mayors, and fought for justice for, Kevin and Don, fought for justice for the West Memphis Three, fought for justice for Janie Ward and all these different, cases here in Arkansas, crime cases and stuff, and it's just, I know it's a losing battle. I'm not going to stop standing up and fighting, but I know in the end it's a losing battle. But I'm still going to, say my piece. So you do the $35 a month. Yeah, I might even go to that too because, like I said, I'm not using the internet on my phone as much now, so, now that I have Wi-Fi, I don't need a whole lot of, data gigabytes because the only time I'm really away from home, is going back and forth to doctor's appointments or, the grocery store in town and things like that. So I don't really necessarily need that extra gigabytes and stuff of data. So I'm going to have to start really, really penny pinching, my money and things like that. Got to fight for those missing and murdered children. Absolutely. I'm not going to, stop fighting for victims and things like that. But, I once upon a time was heavily involved in Arkansas politics, and that shit about killed me. Like, when I walked away from politics, I went into my house. I didn't see nobody. I didn't speak to nobody. And there were people that thought I was dead. Someone contacted me on Facebook and wrote me a message and said, "Oh my God, I thought you were dead." I'm like, "Really? Thanks for coming to my funeral. I really appreciate that. I thought you were my friend." You have the audacity to send me a message that says, "Oh my God, girl, I thought you were dead." No, I just walked away from all of y'all's idiocy. Crazy ass politics after what was done to me. That was just unforgivable. and I walked away from politics. And, you know, after all the stuff that happened and backlash that I got from friends who were pissed at me for voting for Donald Trump, I'm like, how anybody in Arkansas could dare condemn me for voting against Hillary Clinton. That's what I was doing, was voting against Hillary Clinton. I would have voted for whoever the hell was running against her. It just so happened that it ended up being Donald Trump. But I would have voted for whoever ran against Hillary Clinton. And how anybody from Arkansas would have the audacity to condemn me for not voting for Hillary Clinton is beyond me. Because obviously you don't know me as well as you thought you did. You know, I had a friend who, I lost a friend over that. And I couldn't believe it, that she turned on me the way she did. Because I would have never believed, I thought that she felt the same way I did, that she would never want to see a Clinton back in the president's office. But no, she flat told me my one vote for Donald Trump ruined this country. And she said we no longer had anything in common, and she had nothing else left to say to me. And I'm just like, all we did together, all that we did to fight against the corrupt Arkansas government and the murders of Kevin and Dawn and her brother and the West Memphis Three and all that, and you had you turn on me like that, I was just floored. So, you know, I walked away from politics and never looked back. But I will stand up and I will say my piece, you know, about it. And, you know, I stand with Jason Aldean. I don't approve of this rioting and looting and being, you know, disrespectful to cops. And you know what? Don't come to my small town and try that shit, because you're not going to get away with it. And by no means is that racist, because I talk about plenty of white people and plenty of white people's committing crimes here on my channel. So I don't care what color you are. Yeah. Oh, lady, oh, I did. Yeah, with friends like that, hell, who needs enemies? That still blows my mind to this day. And, you know, I get it. She was a much older lady than me. And so she's sort of one of those, you know, old head, diehard, you know, from that generation Democrats. But, when it comes to the subject of the Clintons, I would have never thought that she would have turned on me like that. It was very heartbreaking, because I just felt like all the work we did fighting for justice for people here in Arkansas, that was so much tied to politics here in Arkansas, that she did that to me. But, you know, I mean, it's happened. You know, I had friends who turned on me because of my support for the West Memphis Three. You know, people that think that they're guilty turned on me. So, you know, it's nothing new. I had people, you want to tell you, one of the nastiest experiences I've ever been through is a church breakup. I've been through 3 church breakups, and the last church breakup that I went through with my home church that I grew up in my whole life, I had people that, you know, had known me and my mother and my family since before I was even born. And those people turned on me because I chose to go with Brother Scott and start another church. And you know, those people who had known me my entire life turned on me. And, you know, that's one of the, I don't wish that on anybody. You think a celebrity divorce is nasty? Go through a church breakup. They get nastier than a celebrity divorce. I kid you not. It's awful. You voted for yourself. Hell, I thought about it. Just write in, you know, do a write in for Mickey Mouse or SpongeBob SquarePants or you know, somebody like that, it just, I don't know. I don't get people, but, people come in and out of your life for a reason. And, she felt that strongly about it. I just never would have believed that she, of all people, would have ever wanted to vote for a Clinton, because, that election for me was personal. It had nothing to do with politics. It had nothing to do with a political agenda or beliefs or what each of them's, agendas were or anything. It was personal. Like I said, I would have voted for whoever was running against her. It just so happened to be Donald Trump. So, it was just very, very, very sad situation. Well, I have been rambling for quite a while now. Like I said, does anybody have any questions? Does anybody have anything they'd like to mention or a case to bring to my attention or anything you want to talk about? Yeah, some people have very strong feelings about that. And, just because I might have a difference in opinion about something or someone, politics is not who I am. There's much more to me than a political opinion I have or somebody I voted for. That's not my whole life. Don't judge me because I voted for somebody that you despise and you want to throw away an entire friendship over something like that. I mean, I don't feel like our government, anybody in our government truly gives a shit about us. But, hell, we got to vote for somebody. And I went with the lesser of two evils is what I did, So that's just, how I, feel about it and what, but, there's much more to me than that, and as a person, so just very, 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 very sad. But I think I am going to close out for the night. I've got to get up really early in the morning and go to Hot Springs for a doctor's appointment. So I'm going to have to get up early and get around and get to, it's just a consultation appointment. It's not a big deal. So anyway, but I want to thank everybody that came in the chat tonight. I wish earlier that the people who had come in the chat earlier had come back and to catch this live. Like I said, I had some audio issues earlier and couldn't do the live. So, but anyway, everybody have a great evening. Please stay hydrated in this heat. Check on your neighbors. Make sure they're cool. Make sure especially your elder neighbors, make sure they got things that they need. If you, need to buy them a case of water or, a meal or something like that, let's be kind to each other. I'm so sick of this fighting and arguing and, and you're this and you're that and you're a racist and you're mean and blah, all this drama and fighting. And stop, please stop. Please do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. Go out here and be the change that you wish to see in this world. As Michael Jackson said, it starts with the man in the mirror. Everyone, peace out. Have a wonderful night. God bless each and every one of you.
What's happening, y'all? If you're looking for a sad true crime podcast, then get up off of that thing and boogie on over to the Ruby Pearl Glamper True Crime Podcast, where we give you the lowdown and ring that notification bell. Catch you on the flip side.